stewing meats, things like the shin on the bone, can be a little bit intimidating to people. But they're the cheapest cut, and like protein, that taken protein-wise is what, like 25% protein?
25%.
Per 100 grams, you're looking at about 25 grams of protein for shin of beef. When you take a piece of meat like this, people are afraid to use these, but you literally, there's so many different recipes. You can soak it in wine and herbs overnight, and then you can braise it.
Slow cook it, we can use it like a hot pot.
Yep.
Even chili, people look at chilies and think, oh, chilies and juices and mince.
Chunks
in the pan.
Yeah.
Dan hadn't done this before, and I says, Dan, you try it. And he tried this fortnight ago, was it, Dan?
Yeah. Yeah, fortnight ago, yeah.
Yeah, and
it's all right.
Fortnight ago, and he goes, wow, and the flavour, and that's somebody that's been in this industry for 20 years.
Hasn't done a chili.
Hasn't done a chili with the shin of beef, and it's something that we need to add protein and the flavours from the cooking it on the bone, because we always say cooking it on the bone is always more flavour. You know, it's like the porterhouse steak or the T-bone steak. We can cut a sirloin, but if you cut a sirloin on the bone, it's a porterhouse, which is the barbecue lads love. The porterhouse on the bone, more flavour because it's coming from the bone, so we're getting the flavours.
There's very little you need to do with this. If you're doing a beef chili, you can approach a piece on the bone like this in two ways. What you could do is you could cube it up first and keep this piece of bone with the marrow in it.
Yes.
What I would do then is, after giving it a sort of marinade overnight for the chunks, there's nothing wrong with marinating the chunks of beef before you cook them in the chili, is when you're frying off your onions in your pan, and you're frying off your previous ingredients, pop this little piece of bone in with them, and allow it to render through, so you start to put that flavour into the onions as well, and the spices and the herbs. And then when you come to brown the rest of the meat in there, you're chucking it back in with that marrow and that extra flavour, and then you can slow cook that. You can add a little bit of stock, if you want. You'll be able to simmer, slow cook that down until that becomes so tender that you've got amazing chili.
I told a lady, and we said earlier, is we just pan fry these as they were, and seal them, and then put them in.
Because
in the pot.
It's gonna.
And it just breaks down because you can see the muscles, the individual muscles, and they just break down.
So again, this is going to lend itself well to slow cook.
Slow cook.
You're not going to this red because we've got connected tissue running between all of these and the intramuscular tissue there. And that again,
we've got the collagen in here, and you put it. And
that collagen, that's the barbecue thing. That's why briskets fail. That's why these type of cheaper cuts fail, because you need to get the internal temperature of these to that 190 degree Fahrenheit for that collagen to break down
and to start to become glutinous.
And then you have the flavour, and you have just the ability to pull that apart in the dish. So again, these are slow cooking jams, which I think is why people get put off. They don't realise that. They might try and, like you said, pan braise it, not for long. And if you're cooking this in one piece like this, this is where meat thermometers are just absolutely essential.
Yeah, essential. We've been looking at meat thermometers, and not a cheap one, but an effective one that people just go out and buy and just put in the drawer and just keep. We're just dropping it in and taking meat to like 65, 70 degrees on the internal temperature for something that's rare, and then allowing it to rest slightly. The temperature still increases on the inside. But it's still cooking from the flavours.
You've got that convection of the heat continuing to transfer to the centre of the piece. But I mean, a meat thermometer for something like this being cooked like this is crucial. You can't really do it by sight. If it's being slow cooked, if it's in a chili, if it's in like a slow cooking, you don't really have to worry about that because you are going to leave it for 6 to 8 hours plus.
6 to 8 hours is absolutely stunning. But even reheating it for the next day, because you can reheat meat once, but reheating it the next day, the flavour's even better still.
Chilies and bolognese is
always better the next day.
It's true, and that's perfect for people who prep meals, people who have jobs where they pack up a lunchbox or make large portions. This is what you should be looking at. You shouldn't be going to the supermarket and buying packet mince and making your chilies that way. You should be looking at these cuts. They're cheaper, generally far easier to get at the butchers, and way more flavoursome.
Way more flavoursome, especially with the bone. It's always a great deal more flavour.
So what's this cut called? How this is cut?
This is shin of beef. If it was in veal, it'd be called argentino. But it's one of our pictures that we've got on our Facebook and our web page that we've looked, and it's just absolutely. I just think it's stunning.
It does. It's got that look to it. It's got that classic.
That classy look. Yeah.
So people need to come in, ask for shin of beef on the bone,
Shin of beef on the bone.
just sliced almost like a steak.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah. A bit thickness, which 25, say about 25 millimeters or an inch, depending on what you're looking at. Yes, it's.
And that's not going to break the bank.
That's not going to break the bank. Well, we turned around and said, didn't we earlier?
Yeah.
That's going to feed a family of 6. Yeah, we've got 2 kilos.
So you've got 400 grams, 25 grams of protein. You've got 500 grams of protein there. So even if you're the biggest bodybuilder on the highest, like 100 kilo individual, like an athletic 100 kilo individual might be eating 220 grams of protein a day. That's 2 days worth of food just from shin of beef. And obviously you're not going to do that. You have multiple meals, you might have shakes if you're an athlete. So that is going to feed you for a long time.
And that was £12.50.
That's £12. So that is, yeah. So if you ate all of that in 2 meals, it's £6 a meal, which is still less than if you were to buy a ready meal. If you were to buy a pack of mince is a £5. Right? So a pack of mince for 600 to 900 grams is going to cost you a £5. Give the shin of beef a try. I'm going to be doing one of these into a chili or a
chili.
I'll do a chili.
Absolutely stunning.
I'll have a play with that.
Yeah.
And you guys can grab the recipe for that, and you can come into Paris and ask for some shin of beef. So there you go. Give it a crack. I'm going to let you finish preparing those. I'm going to steal more meat from you.
Excellent.
What I'll do